In this video, I'm going to give you guys an introduction to absolute value. And if you look at the top of the screen, it says absolute value is the distance a number is from zero. The absolute value of any non-zero number is always positive. So for these first two examples, I'm going to visually show you guys how to find the absolute value. And if you look at example 1, you see a 3 with these two vertical lines to the left and right of it. So it's surrounded by these vertical lines. That is the notation for absolute value. So if you see a number with two vertical lines around it, one in front and one after it, that means the absolute value. So I'm going to show you guys how we can find this using a number line, and then I'll just show you guys a shortcut. So let's just draw a number line right here. 0, 1, 2, 3, and we'll do -1, -2, -3. And now we want to find the absolute value of 3. So we are looking at 3, which is right here. The absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. So if we're using a number line, we're just trying to figure out what is this distance right here. And it's the positive distance. Distance is always positive. So 3 is 3 units away from 0. So the absolute value of 3 is equal to 3. And now we're going to do the same thing for -3. So again, let me just sketch this same number line really quickly. So we got 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. And we're looking at the absolute value of -3. So we're looking over here at -3, and we want to figure out what is the distance from -3 to 0. Well, -3 is also 3 units away from 0, and remember, distance is always positive. So the absolute value of -3 is also +3. So that's where the second part of our definition comes in handy. The absolute value of any non-zero number is always positive. So you don't always have to draw a number line. Basically, the absolute value of any number that's not 0 is just positive. So if it's the absolute value of a negative number, you just take the positive version of that number. If it's the absolute value of a positive number, the answer is just that number. And we're going to go through 4 examples where we're not using a number line so that you guys understand how to use this shortcut. So for these last 4 examples, we're not going to draw a number line. We're just going to use the second part of the definition, which says the absolute value of any non-zero number is always positive. So if we take a look at example 3, we have the absolute value of -5. So the absolute value of -5 is just the positive version of that number, so it's just 5. And now if we look at example 4, we have the absolute value of 0. This is the only time we're not going to get a positive number because 0 is neither positive nor negative. You just want to think, how far away is 0 from itself? It is 0 units away from itself. So the absolute value of 0 is just 0. If we look at example 5, we have the absolute value of 30. So because 30 is a positive number, the absolute value of 30 is just itself. And finally, the absolute value of -17. So because we have a negative number, we're just going to change it to a positive number. So absolute value is always positive unless the number inside is 0. So the absolute value of -17 is +17. So hopefully this gave you guys an introduction to absolute value. If you guys want some more practice with problems like this, check out the link in our description for a free practice worksheet.